Hey everyone, Keller here, doing another demo video for the MPRUN software I'm working on. I've got my brother right here. Say what up, Q.
What up?
So this is I wanted to do another video to kind of like elaborate on everything and all the features I went through, and just show what's up with the software. I'm going to go through everything in this video, and then eventually I'll release, the software in a simplified video, but let me just show you what's up. So, first of all, this is the main window. This is what you'll be greeted with. It may look a little different when you greet it in your version. So, first thing we're going to do is create a template. You can choose these and create new projects based off these sizes. We also have this drop down with a little more options, and there's also custom template option right here, so you get to define the width, the height, the text that will be placed on the canvas. I'll explain that in a second, and the grid size. I will explain that when we get into the actual software. But this text right here is just text that's placed by default on the canvas during creation, so you can set it. It's editable automatically, so it's not like permanent, but you can be like athlete name, and then athlete blah blah blah, and just go on from there. But I'll just keep that right there. I'll set this grid size to 100 just to show you guys what the grid size is, and then create a new project. So you're greeted with this screen. This is called the vector space. This is where all the drawing's done, all the creation, exporting, so on and so on. So mine might look a little different just because I'm... Oh, thanks for the strawberry, Q.
Welcome.
I'm on a monitor right now, so a lot of my tools might show up entirely, whereas maybe yours, you have to open this little bar, and get extra tools. Anyways, this is the vector space, so I'll just keep this full screen for the recording. Panning, zooming, standard. There's the athlete name. If you press the P key, you can pan around. This is editable. If you double click it, you can type in your name, Keller, save that. Also, here's your size and everything. If you press the W key, and all these tools, by the way, they have shortcuts, or you could just press them on their own. So there's the pan tool, select, and then this is just the refit view tool, which is useful because, you could end up all the way over here and be like, uh-oh, where's my canvas, and then W, you're right back. So if you press the space bar, that's the select tool. Here's the rotate tool, rotate view, and this just rotates the entire view 90 degrees clockwise each time you press it. Useful if you need to draw a path, which I'll show you what that is in a few, this way, because your course goes from left to right, that's how you read it typically, or you can set it up either way. So there's that. I was gonna mention the group snapping, or it's called G-snap, which you saw that in the create template dialog. That's where you can define the grid size for object snapping. So if you create a group, just select something, press G, and when you move it, it moves, normal by default. But if you press over here in the options panel or properties panel, I'll name this in a few, but G snap, you just check that, and you can see it's got that grid size. So I set it to a really high number. Obviously you don't need to set it this high, but you can see it snaps to grid, so pretty useful feature right there. Next thing I would mention is the locking positions tool, which is pretty useful. So you can lock an item just by pressing right here or using the command for it. If you just do that, it's locked no matter what you do. It's still selectable, which is a good thing, and you can always go back and unlock it, right? There's also the permanent lock tool, so again, that is permanent. which means if you press it, you're going to get a warning, you know, are you sure you still want to permanently lock it? Yeah, I'm just going to click yes, and that makes it no longer selectable, no longer anything, not editable. You can't do anything with it now. So it's almost as if you embed it into the canvas drawing area, right? So there's that, and by the way, you can add text with the text tool, which is just Command T. And this is just an editable text block. You can make it as big as you want. You can make it as wide as you want, you know. See? So I think it's safe to mention there's also layer management too, which you can set the layers just by changing this. So if you have something selected and you set these, it will set the layer height. Or you can use the buttons, raise layer, lower layer, right? So I'll just create something real quick. But before I do that, I will mention there's stroke options, and this will change, you know, attributes for text colors and path colors and all that. So I'll set this to a nice green, and I'll go ahead and create the text, which is right there. Okay, now we have that. I'll create another one with a blue color. This is just a color picker that you can use and whatnot. So you can see it's on top of that one, right? You can lower it, but we can't go any lower because we're right at 0 on there. So if we wanted to raise the green back in front of the blue, you can just change that to what, layer 3 if you wanted to, you know, and now the green's above the blue. So there's pretty good layer management, simple layer management, you know. Sorry, my brother's drumming in the background. And there's, yeah, layer management. So that's a pretty good feature. Now let's actually get into what the software is used for, which is planning competition runs. So the workflow I kind of had in mind while I was creating it is you basically create all of your, or you like drag and drop essentially features like jumps, rails, and stuff. And I'll add more, but if you come down here to course elements picker, you can choose between these or import your own, which is just an SVG, you know, file. But you can import rails, jumps, half pipes, or just, you know, use the default ones. There's going to be more. Again, there's going to be a lot of, in this video, there's going to be a lot of, oh, we're working on this, oh, we're doing that, you know. So for this looks like a half pipe, you know, you've got your lines and everything, but it's a little small, right? So a lot of the time when you bring the elements in, you're going to want to scale them up a bit, which that's why there's the element manager tool, which this has become really useful for me in my opinion, because you get rotating, scaling. You can be more precise with the scaling right here in these, you know. You can go horizontally, say 2, and it stretches it, right? Or you can use the sliders, which I like, but if you want to be precise, you have the option to use these. You can change opacities too. So this element manager, it's obviously going to get way more complex, you know. It's probably going to be like that high, but for now it's just used for managing elements and tweaking features and rotating things. This goes all the way up to 360, so pretty useful dialogue I've got here. Anyways, we have it scaled up to double size pretty much. After you do that, you can go ahead and close that. That just pops up with the key M, or you can just press the button. Like I mentioned, lock the position. This is a recommended. This is my idea, was, you know, locking positions each time you create something. So now that we've locked that, we're going to move on to the path tool, which that's used for drawing your path down the course, right? And the path tool has its own set of features with stroke options, you know, and fill options. So it can also be used to draw shapes as well, not just paths down your course. So I'll show you. I'll change the color to like purple, and then you can obviously change the size. I'll change it to 6 since we have a bigger canvas. you can change the stroke style, dotted stroke. I'll go with dash dot. You can change the cap. Round cap looks best. Cap styles. And fill color. If you turn this on, you'll see something. So here's the path draw tool. So as soon as you do that, you'll see, there you go. But if you notice, there's like this hidden white line that kind of covers everything up. You can see it moving everything. And then as soon as I let go, it's going to create that in the middle right there. And that basically just creates a fill like that in the line. So that's where you can come in and create shapes. If you just press X, by the way, that turns that on and off. You can come in and create a shape like that, right? So, again, another pretty useful feature. Delete these with just the backspace key. I'll keep that off for now and just have the stroke color. And as you draw, literally, you just draw your path like that. And there's a little tool tip right there that shows you your size and where you're at on the screen. Pretty useful. So now that we have the path tool relatively explained, and you can do a lot more with it, you know. Let's say I want to change the style of this line, or I want to even fill it, you know. So if you enable stroke fill while we're using this tool, I'll show you, it will fill it. So I'm going to set this to pink or whatever. Changed it to a dotted stroke. You know, you can change all these. And if you just hit U on the keyboard, it does what we call a restroke. And you just, it's like as if it was to redraw the whole line, right? It's a pretty useful tool as well. Like I said, you can come in and restroke it with white if you wanted to. So if you have that, come in with fill color and we'll change that to blue. By default, the fill color is white, and that's just because it looks good when you draw with it, especially on the canvas. It comes in handy with the erase tool, which is basically just the path tool, but it automatically turns the color to white. If I click the restroke tool, you'll see it fills it with that color, right? So again, another pretty useful feature if you're trying to create shapes or something. Else, if you just press, it will keep the fill out. So now that we have that, our path, sorry about the people in the background, you can move it around. It becomes one selectable unit. Or you can come in here and just click group, because I'm going to group these together. I want them to be one unified shape. And then let's say, oh man, I just want it to be, you know, kind of centered-ish. You can just use the group snapping to try to find the center point. And this is why you want it set to a lower value than 100, because it's gonna snap as if there was a grid of 100 by 100, you know. So like right there looks good, and then we can either turn that off, keep it on, whatever you want. And I'll go ahead and just lock the position right there. Where is it? There it is. There you go, locked. Now it's locked, so I could turn that off now. But now that it's locked, can't move it, none of that, it's done in there. I'm gonna try to speed things up here because I know I'm getting really in depth. But we're gonna go with our line and label tool. Same thing, you can change all the stroke colors. I'll go with a nice good old green for this. Pretty ugly. We can do a solid stroke, that looks best. Square cap, and that's pretty good right there. So if you actually select the line and label tool, you click the start point where you want it to start, the actual label to, and then you drag to where you want it. See? Right there. And these are always movable too, so if you mess up, you know, and say you go, oh, went a little too far, you can move it back. Just hit the escape key to exit any tool, and you can move these around. You might notice that none of this comes when you select this, and that's because this is the parent item, meaning when you delete this line, it deletes everything else. It deletes everything else with it, right? But also you can delete individual lines. So if you want the circle gone, it will delete these texts and everything. And that's because if you I made it that way so that if you wanted to, you don't have to draw the actual leader lines. You can just click points and it creates labels on them, right? So as you can see, there's our label. Can't move it. I'll go ahead and change that in a few, but there's our label, and if you just click backspace on it, it deletes it. These are editable, obviously, so you can come in, and this is where you would name your tricks along the path. So I don't know, back side 360, right? And there you go, you got a back 3 right there. So as you can see, this is kind of the workflow, is bring in your course element, as I call it, and draw your path through the course, and then label it, right? So pretty straightforward process, but if this is where you want to be done, you can be done right here and export it. And I'll show you how to export real quick, which is just this button down here. Looks like a little share icon. You get multiple choices. I prefer SVG or PNG. SVG really does just look best because it these are all vector graphics, so obviously they're gonna look better. But PNG, you can go with that. I'll just save this as blah, you know. Put this in my downloads folder, and then if you save it, shows you your export's completed, and it automatically opens it in your image previewer, and you can kind of scroll around and see. But that's why SVG is naturally better, because it's gonna not make it all pixelated. But like for printing, this is perfect, you know. Right here, you can just print this out when you're done or whatever. You can even come in here and add your own little things, but there's that. So I think next it's safe to mention, like I was saying, if you look in the GitHub link, I mentioned it can be a simple software and a powerful software when necessary. So what I mean by that exactly is that this can all be, it can just be like, I mean, I took a while because I went in depth and explained everything, but you could probably get this done in 5 minutes, you know, and print it out, have a goal for tomorrow or whatever. Or you could come in and get really in depth. So if you're going to want to get really in depth, oh yeah, duplicate tool. I think it's safe to mention that. If you want to get it really in depth, you can come in and bring in a file, any of these types, right, and do your own thing there with custom course elements. So you can bring in an SVG or JPEG, whatever. So I'll bring a PNG in, and I'll just bring the logo in from our just the MPRUN logo. So I'll do that one right here. So this is obviously bitmap, everything PNG. If you were to pretend this was a course element, it'd probably be a little low quality if you wanted to print this out. But you could come in here and use the vectorize tool, which is key V, and basically this takes every little pixel and converts it to a vector tile, like an SVG tile, and it still looks a little pixelated. But if we do a side-by-side comparison, you'll see the difference. So I'll just press V. You're gonna have to wait a minute, because it is converting it. And the program just crashed. So that's another thing, is that tool's still in beta, so obviously you're gonna want to be careful playing with that tool. We'll work on it some more. But let's see if I can actually get a result out of it during this video. So we're gonna insert course element, and this is where the software starts to get a little wonky, you know. It can be powerful, but at the same time it can be really powerful at crashing. So I'll just bring in one of these, and then now we'll try vector, press V, see if it actually converts it. There we go. Alright, now we got a result. So if you look side by side, these have been converted to vector tiles, right? And basically, here's the original. Oh, I never mentioned, if you hover over everything, they have their names. Elements are managed, period, whatever they are. So this is a locked text block because you can't move it. But they're all named when they're created and everything based off of what they do. So if we look side by side, this is a bitmap. This is a converted vector. You can see the slight quality change in the edges. You can see this looks way smoother than this, right? But still, if you zoom in, it's going to be tile based. So this is a vector now, technically, because it's an SVG, but it looks it's way cleaner. So pretty useful feature right here if you wanted to take some course element you made, like a jump or something, and turn it into a vector item. And also, if you want to speed things up a little bit, you can change the color tolerance. So 1 is the highest tolerance, which means it's going to try to create it the best as possible to a vector item. So that will crash the program if you have like an image of, I don't know, the outdoors or something. So if you really want to speed things up, the max is 1028. Basically, you just press the V key, and it's going to be a little bit faster. See? But you can see that the quality change. So we have, let's see if you can kind of see it. Right there, right there. So this is converted vector. You can see the color tolerance. It doesn't really create the pixels of brown, the transitions. It just goes right into the orange. So if you look side by side, this looks bad, this looks good, this looks okay-ish, but this is better if you want quicker results. So really good, useful tools right there. You can just delete those. Oh, I was gonna mention the duplicate tool, which I'll go ahead and bring in an element for that. Literally just press the D key and it duplicates them, slightly off centers them, so you can see. If you want to crash the program, you can select all of these and do a vectorize. So beta feature, we're gonna work on that. But yeah, pretty useful. What else is there? And I should have mentioned that you could have left the video at when I was done with the course, because I don't even think we're close to being done yet with demoing the software. So I'll try to speedrun this. There's permanent lock tool, mention that. I kind of mentioned all these, which is perfect. So I think that calls it for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the demo. It's probably seemed a little all out of sorts and all over the place, and it's just because there's so many things I have to go through, and I will obviously, with each demo video, the videos are going to improve and the software is going to improve. So thank you guys very much for watching and everything, and I will be releasing a version soon. So thank you.